Nigeria, thank you for joining us for another episode of Newsline. I am Jennifer Igwe. What a man can do, a woman can do better may sound like a cliche to those who would argue the saying is not entirely true. They may be right. The reality, though, is that more and more women are daring into areas that were once regarded as all-male zones, and they are doing so with swags. Today, we are featuring two women who are earning a living with ease in a field where men even acquire street life skills to survive. Then, still on resilience, we have a story of an amputee who has not allowed the storms of life blow away his quest for survival and is sailing with determination despite the odds. Stay tuned for details of an amputee with one arm who is making ends meet as a roadside vulcanizer. We have other interesting stories and impactful ones indeed. But we'll take the news segment first. I'll be right back when Elizabeth Omori is done. Hello, Lizzie. Nice to see you again.
Hello, Jennifer. It's nice to see you again as well. Thanks so much for joining us on the news segment. The presidency has described as worrisome and mischievous attempts by some individuals to discredit the highly successful visit by President Muhammad Buhari to Imo State by concocting and indeed twisting out of context his remarks at the meeting with Igbo leaders. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, puts the records straight. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Governor of Imo State, I cannot thank you enough, but I will be careful with your future invitations. Thank you very much.
That was the concluding remarks by President Muhammadu Buhari at a town hall meeting with Southeast leaders during his one-day visit to the Eastern Heartland. The purveyors of disinformation who adduced different meanings to that phrase want Nigerians to believe that the president was not impressed with what he saw on ground. To put the record straight, President Buhari inaugurated several strategic people-centered projects executed by the Hope Uzodinma administration under its rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery agenda. The president summed up his impression this way.
And I have seen enough that justifies his integrity. I'm very impressed with what he has done. Infrastructure is what will enable the people to mind their own businesses. And I assure you that I will try to encourage Imo State within the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And when he arrived the banquet hall of the Imo State Government House for a town hall meeting, President Buhari was welcomed by Igbo leaders of thought in their numbers who had patiently waited for him. He was indeed overwhelmed by the caliber of personalities present and acknowledged that clearly in his extempore speech.
I'm overwhelmed by this reception. Overwhelmed in the sense that when I accepted the invitation by the Imo State governor who wants to justify the investment the government has done to the people of Imo State, I thought I was going to see the bridges, the roads, and a few renovations. He didn't tell me that he's going to get the Igbo leadership, the whole Igbo leadership here. So, in future, when he invites me, I will know what to do.
The presidency therefore concluded that contrary to what the purveyors of disinformation want Nigerians to believe, President Buhari's historic visit to Imo State was very successful. Even the Igbo leaders who met him, including the President General of Ohaneze Ndibo, Professor George Obiazo, and the Anglican Archbishop of Owerri Province, Archbishop David Onoha, shared the same enthusiasm that President Buhari's coming to the Eastern Heartland would bring peace, faster unity, prosperity and restoration, as well as encourage good and better understanding among the citizenry.
Mr. President, your visit and presence in Igbo land today, in Owerri in particular, has more than political significance. Nigeria has ended politics of frivolities. This is a very serious country today, believe it or not. It's led by a serious president.
Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In talking security now, the Olu Sector Commander of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Chidera Wabuhe, also known as the Dragon, has been killed in a gun battle with officers of the Imo State Police Command. A statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer Michael Abatam indicates that the incident occurred when officers of the command tactical team acting on intelligence reports raided major IPOB ESN camps in the state. According to the statement, the criminals who were sighted in an uncompleted building allegedly planning to resume terror attacks on government installations in the state opened fire on police operatives who also returned fire, resulting in the death of 3 hoodlums, including Dragon. 1 hoodlum was arrested while others escaped with bullet wounds. Katsina State Police Command has arrested a fugitive bandit who has been on its wanted list while trying to escape from the state. Dauda Mohammed reports.
The fugitive bandit, 32-year-old, known with the alias Dankali, who has been on the police wanted list for some time now, was arrested while trying to board a commercial vehicle to Niger State.
I heard the allegation that has been made against me, that I am an informer of bandits.
Also paraded are 2 suspected informers and fuel suppliers to bandits. The duo were arrested by troops of the Nigerian Army 17th Brigade along Yantumaki to Dutz-Amma Road and handed over to the police. Also arrested are 17 suspects for contravening the security challenges containment order put in place by the state government to address insecurity in 12 frontline local government areas. Katsina State Police Public Relations Officer SP Gambo Isa explained that ignorance of the law is not an excuse, as anyone found violating the law will be arrested and prosecuted.
Zamfara State Police Command has banned the operations of clutch-oriented motorcycles in 13 out of the 14 local government areas of the state. Jamil Ibrahim reports that the State Police Commissioner Ayuba Elkanah, who announced this at a media briefing, said only Usau Metropolis is exempted from the new security measure.
As the renewed commitment to combat resurgent banditry and spate of kidnapping in Zamfara State progresses, more measures are being adopted by the security agencies for maximum results. Ban on the operation of motorcycles, the latest measure announced by the Zamfara State Police Command.
Riding of motorcycles that has clutch has been banned in the 13 local government areas of the state. Also, the earlier enforcement of restrictions of motorcycles and tricycles from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and in Gusau local government area from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. is still in force.
Activities of saboteurs are also said to have constituted a great obstacle to the full enforcement of the security measures put in place.
Some unscrupulous elements are using their vehicles to supply petrol and other food items to the bandits in the bush, most especially drivers of golf cars and canters. This practice must stop.
The police commissioner appealed to people in the state to remain law-abiding and to collaborate with the security agencies for the restoration of lasting peace in all parts of the state. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Still on security, a lecturer with the Usman Danfodio University Sokoto, Dr. Murtala Hamid Rufai, has presented an expose on the origin, causes and enabling factors of banditry in the northwestern part of the country, identifying the role of politicians in fueling insecurity. Dalhatu Abdullah reports that this was presented in a 40-page lecture titled I Am a Bandit at the 15th seminar series of the History Department of the university.
The presentation was part of the 15th inaugural lecture at the History Department of Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. The lecture contained first-hand information Dr. Murtala Ahmed Rufai gathered in developing his research during his interactions with bandits in Zamfara state forests. Some of the issues that precipitated the current insecurity, banditry, and other challenges include lack of access to education, veterinary services, and animal feeds.
The normal stipends they were getting from the politicians were no longer flowing, because the fact remains that the politicians are over with them, they are done with them, and they've actually compensated them appropriately. So since that life is there, they were enjoying it, they were used to it, they find it very difficult to swap to their formal and the traditional way of life while they were in the rural areas.
Another deep-rooted factor the university don't observe was the social grievance from the perceived injustice among the pastoral communities.
The genesis of the conflict to some extent again has to do with the issue of the farmer-header conflict. Not in Zamfara alone, I am telling you, larger parts of northern Nigeria.
The researcher identified illicit mining arguments leading to the rise of conflicts among the miners who struggle to get upper hand in the competition.
Local illicit miners paying money as what they call the protection levy to the bandits.
The Vice Chancellor of Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto Professor Lawal Suleiman Bilbis, described the research as part of the university's responsibility in finding a lasting solution to the problem of insecurity in Zamfara State. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
A bit of banking now. The Central Bank of Nigeria has refuted a rumor on the social media that effective from the 13th of September, all deposit money banks, international money transfer operators and members of the public are to convert domiciliary account holdings into Naira. The CBN reiterated that the bank has not contemplated such line of action. One Isobi, Director Corporate Communications, CBN, the speculation is completely a false narrative aimed at triggering panic in the foreign exchange markets. He says it would be recalled that the bank had previously assured members of the public that there was no plan whatsoever to convert the foreign exchange into the domiciliary accounts of customers into Naira in order to check purported shortage of availability of the United States dollars. Operators of domiciliary accounts and other members of the banking public are therefore advised to completely disregard these fictitious documents and malicious rumors and go about their legitimate foreign exchange transactions. These rumors are only aimed at impugning the integrity of the CBN and activating chaos in the system. The public should note that any circular issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria is posted on its website. CBN warns corporate bodies and members of the public against the unauthorized use of the bank's logo for any purpose whatsoever, as the appropriate authorities have been alerted and culprits will be sanctioned accordingly. President Muhammad Buhari extolled the virtues of the Itsonope Yaya Abubakar on the occasion of his 69th birthday and 18th anniversary on the throne, describing him as a remarkable traditional leader. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari noted that peace and harmony have thrived in his domain, adding that the Itsonope has used his military background and experience to work assiduously for the promotion of peace, harmony, and unity amongst his people. The President also admonished the royal father not to rest on his oars and continue to offer his fatherly advice to leaders at all levels in order to move Nigeria forward. Similarly, the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, felicitates with the Itsonopean Chairman, Niger State Traditional Council, Alhaji Dr. Yaya Abubakar, on his 69th birthday, as well as his 18th year on the throne. In a statement, Professor Gambari says the revered traditional ruler's exemplary leadership is clearly demonstrable, evident in his being saddled with several high levels of responsibilities across the country. Expressing gratitude for the Itsonope's support for him and the Buhari administration, he prayed Almighty Allah to grant the Itsonope more years in good health. Expansion of God's kingdom is again redefined in service and self-dedication as the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, joined the primate of All Nigeria Anglican Communion to dedicate the All Saints Anglican Cathedral in Imo State Zone 5 and an auditorium of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, City of David in Utako, Abuja. Charles Alpha reports.
And we hereby pronounce declare and decree that the said church be so dedicated. In the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Magnificent, classic, adorable, describe the new edifice of the All Saints Anglican Church, Season 5, a place of worship, built in line with the vision of the church to honor God and consolidate on the efforts of past vicars, archbishops, venerables, and other Anglican primates. For members and non-members, it was a colorful sight to behold. Dressed in a special way, it was a moment of touching the heavens in hymns, praises, and worship. As he performed the dedication rites, the primates of all Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, reckons God's faithfulness through his people made building of the church possible. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo believes dedication of the temple symbolizes a vehicle for the propagation of God's work.
But the dedication of the physical building called the church must only remind us that the real work of building the church is that of building up men and women in the knowledge and nurture of the Lord. It is equipping the saints to lead victorious lives here on earth and to show others the way, the truth, and the life.
Similar events took place at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, City of David, Otako, where a 650 capacity auditorium built by the church was dedicated, with the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in attendance. The Church of God, he believes, will prevail over evil and prayed God to hear the prayers of his children. In Abuja, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
For the National Mosque, Abuja to be in a position to discharge its responsibilities as an important Islamic center to provide the required atmosphere for studies and research, as well as adhere to orthodox religious observance, the Muslim Ummah must support it to establish an income-generating venture for sustainable future. Amir Momini and Sultan of Sokoto Mohammed Saad Abubakar stated this at the stakeholders meeting on the aspirations of the National Mosque. Ilyasu Unotu Yakubu reports.
The stakeholders meeting was conceived by leadership to enable the Muslim Ummah deliberate on ideas to provide the mosque with financial capacity for its running. Part of proposals and prospects presented by the ad hoc committee is to develop the mosque land into a three-phase project comprising a mall, administrative building, and a hotel to make it a center.
It would be recalled that the last time the dilapidated condition of the National Mosque was brought to the attention of the public was during the administration of President Obasanjo.
It is valuable to look at that concept closely again so that there will be no mistakes in the investment.
I think it's a shame for all of us here, including myself, that this can happen with this masjid, and it's because we do not have structures that we are asking us to do today, so that this masjid will be catered for.
Sultan of Sokoto, Abubakar Saad III, beckoned on the believers to see the initiative as a call to invest in their hereafter.
How do we really continue to make this masjid the most relevant center for Muslims all over the country?
Since it was established in 1984, the National Mosque's successive leadership has had to rely on the goodwill of worshippers through almsgiving on platforms such as the weekly Juma prayer to finance the day-to-day running of the nation's Muslim worship center. If adopted by the Ummah, the developmental initiatives are expected to snowball into a revenue-yielding platform. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
In a word from Religious Affairs, the Nigerian ambassador to Italy, Ambassador Mfawa Omini Abam, together with the chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erwa, as well as the Nigerian community in Italy, are demanding full investigation into the killing of a Nigerian, Rita Amenze, in Italy. In a statement, the chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Commission said the husband of the deceased, Mr. Pierangelo Peliza, alleged in the murder, has been arrested. Similarly, the president of the National Union of Nigerian Associations in Italy, Mr. Roland Ondukuba, also condemned the killing and thanked the police authorities for the arrest of the husband. The Nigerian ambassador, who has been informed about the pathetic deaths of the Nigerian, has promised that the embassy will ensure that proper investigation is carried out. It was also reported that Rita filed for divorce, which angered her embittered husband to carry out the heinous act, killing her at a parking lot in front of her colleagues. In aviation matters, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has directed foreign airlines in the country to allow passengers traveling to Nigeria who are unable to show evidence of payment for 7-day COVID-19 PCR test or generate paid QR code or permit to fly or to board their flights. The granting of the temporary permit is due to the current difficulties being experienced by travelers in trying to fill their health and travel history into the Nigeria International Travel Portal, NITP. The Director General, NCAA, Captain Musa Nuhu, who granted this permission in a letter to all foreign airlines, said the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has been notified of the challenges, and such passengers will be required to make payment for the repeated 7-day COVID-19 tests at their destination airports in Nigeria. Cultural integration can serve as a catalyst for developing a sense of belonging and improved sociological well-being of refugees and internally displaced persons. This theory was advanced by participants at a conference of Coalition of Humanitarian Organizations for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons settlements in Nigeria and West Africa. Joseph Otson reports.
Conflict in the West African sub-region has displaced thousands of people. It has also forced a large number to take refuge in neighboring countries. In Nigeria, the Northeast is worst hit with humanitarian concern.
You have about 14 states in Nigeria with humanitarian status.
Healthcare is a huge challenge. So I think there's a lot of work to be done.
Apart from the pain of forcefully leaving their homes and livelihood, refugees, IDPs, and the host communities struggle to cope with cultural adaptation.
The only thing that these people carry along with them wherever they go is their culture. And humanitarians must recognize and respect their culture for sustenance of peace.
This conference with the theme, Harmonizing Diversity in Providing Sustainable Model of Settlements for Refugees in Nigeria and West Africa, is not just looking at supporting these vulnerable people, but to help them be self-reliant and adapt to cultural diversity.
All skills will be embodied within that kind of settlement, and this will make them economically responsible, economically viable. And as well, we want to remind them of their cultural heritage as Africans.
Being sensitive to the culture of others is one thing. The humanitarian organizations themselves do not want to take for granted as they continue to render selfless service to the needy. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The Defense Headquarters has reacted to a trending picture with the caption, Alhamdulillah, Zamfara must be secure, and several other gory pictures and videos of mass grave of persons allegedly killed in the ongoing military operations in the northwest and north-central zones of the country. A statement by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Sawyer, states that the allegation is false and has no link with the operations of troops of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. The Director General Information notes that AFN is presently conducting a military operations against bandits and kidnappers in line with its constitutional roles and is in strict compliance with rules of engagement and respect for fundamental human rights and dignity. The statement urges the public to disregard the gory pictures, stressing that the AFN will not rest on its oars in performing the constitutional mandate of ensuring that the nation remains safe for law-abiding citizens. And it's time to talk sports, and Badi Adeleye will be our guide. Badi, what's the latest in the world of sports?
Of course, Elizabeth, is about the CAF Champions League because Nigerian teams really did well today.
All right.
All right, welcome to Sports Update. We begin with the CAF Champions League as Aqua United brightened their hopes of preliminary round qualification, beating CR Belouizdad of Algeria 1-0 on Sunday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Aqua United found the back of the net in the 80th minute through Friday Ubong.
The Algerians are a highly technical side. They've been in this tournament for 3-4 times, and you can't take it away from them. This is also our first time in the tournament. I give kudos to the players, they tried, but we'll work on it before we go back to
and Southern Conferences. At the conclusion of the competition, Niger Tornadoes of Mina, Gombe United of Gombe, Shooting Stars of Ibadan, and Remo Stars of Ikeneremo, Ogun State were promoted to the Nigeria Professional Football League as from the 2021-2022 football season. Earlier, Chidi Okorafo reports from Enugu that the Nigeria National League imposed a fine of 1 million naira on Bendel Insurance Football Club of Benin City, whose fans invaded the pitch in protest at the referee's decision during their match with Ekiti United in yellow, which ended on a 1-1 draw.
Away from football to volleyball, Nigeria will battle Uganda in the classification match on Monday to determine 5th and 6th positions at the ongoing Men's African Nations Championship in Rwanda. The Usman Abdallah boys lost 3-1 to 2019 silver medalist Cameroon, 25-19, 25-27, 25-19, and 25-20 in the quarterfinals.
If a government can actually support this team by sending them for training tour, I believe they are going to do well because the leadership of Engineer Musa Nimrod has tried.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's women's national team kick-started the African Nations Championship campaign with a 3-0 defeat of Senegal in Rwanda. To tennis now, Novak Djokovic is bidding to become the first man to complete the calendar Grand Slam in 52 years. Later today, as he's currently facing Daniel Medvedev in the US Open final. 24 hours after Emma Raducanu's momentous win, Djokovic could create more tennis history by becoming the first male player since Australian Rod Laver to win all 4 major titles in the same year. Meanwhile, Queen Elizabeth of England was among dignitaries that graced the women's final of the US Open. Amanze Marcos will tell us more.
Elizabeth of England is among dignitaries that have congratulated British teenager Emma Raducanu for winning the 2021 US Open title at 18 to become the second British woman to earn a major trophy after Virginia Wade at Wimbledon in 1977. She has ended Britain's 44-year wait for a women's Grand Slam singles champion. I have no doubt your outstanding performance and that of your opponent Leila Fernandez will inspire the next generation of tennis players, says Queen Elizabeth. Raducanu beat Canada's Fernandez 6-4, 6-3 to complete a fairy tale in New York as the two unseeded players competed in the final. Amanze Marcos, NTA News.
Interesting to see a qualifier win the US Open. And our sports update is back to Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Badi, for the updates. The federal government delegation has condoled with the family and people of Kano State over the demise of a legendary Hausa political singer and poet, late Ishaku Muhammad, popularly known as Forrest. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, expressed President Buhari's shock over the loss of his supporter.
Federal government delegation led by Garba Shehu was received by late Isaku's associate, where he read the condolence message.
Alhaji Isiaku was instrumental in many ways to the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari in his emergence as elected president of Nigeria in 2015 and 2019. He, along with his compatriots, composed poetry, sang songs, very persuasive, very captivating, that motivated the masses, Hausa-speaking masses, all over Nigeria.
Late Isiaku Muhammad died last week after a protracted illness at the age of 44. He left behind mother, 3 wives, and 10 children. Prayers were offered for the repose of the soul of the deceased. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has condoled the family of the former Managing Director of NDDC and former Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Obong Nsima Ekere, on the demise of his father, Obong Gabriel Ekere, describing the departed as a committed patriarch who believed in educating the youth. The funeral held in the deceased compound as the APC Secretary National Caretaker Committee, Senator John Akpan Udu Adair in attendance among other dignitaries. Charity James reports.
The funeral of late Gabriel Samson Ekere could be described as a celebration of life. The remains of the deceased were officially received by the Methodist Church in Nigeria for final rite of passage by the prelate Methodist Church, His Eminence Samuel Uche.
We must give account to the living God how we spend our lives here on earth.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, represented by the Minister of State for Power, acknowledged the worthy legacies of Pa Ekere.
I have several sympathies for him. Losing a loved one is a very painful thing. I share in his grief, and my prayer is that the Lord will give our father a place in his bosom.
Some dignitaries within the country, including Senator representing Uyo Senatorial District, Obongbasi Albert, Secretary APC National Caretaker Committee John Udoidere, and former Minister of Petroleum Don Etebe paid glowing tribute to the deceased. Representatives of Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Godswill Akpabio, and former Akwa Ibom State Governor Obong Victor Otta urged the family to build on the legacies of their late father.
Painful as this may be, I, however, urge you to be consoled by the fact that your late father lived long enough to see you rise to top positions of authority.
My father was my friend. We would always sit down and talk like friends, and he will advise. And, wise counsel, his humor, the laughter that we shared, those are fond memories that I would forever cherish.
The remains of late Gabriel Ekere, aged 90, were later laid to rest in his compound at Edemeya in Ikorobasi local government area. Guests were later treated to a colorful reception. From Edemeya in Ikorobasi local government area, Charity James, NTA News.
And that report ends the news segment of the program. Do not forget, the campaign against rape is still on. Stand with us at the NTA. Stand against rape and rapists. More to come with Jennifer after the break. Do stay with us.
Welcome back. Now, driving could be fun, but have you ever had a flat tire, went off in search of a vulcanizer, only to find an amputee with just one arm? Newsline correspondent Ojonugwa Atta came across Dauda Shaidu, an amputee who, despite his physical challenge, remains a great example of the strong and resilient, hard-working Nigerian.
The long drive to Okene, Kogi State, in search of Dauda Shaidu, a survivor of a motorcycle accident, which left him with only one arm, was not as difficult as we thought. The 35-year-old vulcanizer is well known, especially for his professional competence.
discovered this man. It's a man, imagine, it surprised me how someone with one hand working a hard work like this. That's why I used to handle as my customer. Anytime I have a issue of tire problem, I have to take it to his place.
Since I was with him and that I do work with him, I thank God. He's a very good man, very jovial, and he's very nice in his work. He will do his work perfectly, that we cannot even see a minor fault on it. And the problem I always see on his work is that he don't have a normal equipment, a laser equipment that make it easy for him. But we pray to God that a lot will still come on his way.
He says it was not easy at the beginning, but with time he is now better at the job and patronage has improved.
That time I open shop now, anybody come carry work come say, which organizer say na me? He say na lie, not be you. Get one how I go do am. I say na me be oga. He say no gree. Some people carry work they go. Some people will wait. I say my do am you see am. And from there they do am. The people who don't know me say I'm a organizer before I get that I call am. Now from there people they bring work for me. So now from there now God just bless me. I get that this shop.
Ironically, Dauda's determination and drive to succeed was further strengthened by his physical challenge and the fear of failure.
I see the many people, he don't do it, he don't certify for that organizer. The time I did secondary school now, I'm just 3. So now from there, they see people who they do big motor. If we carry a tractor tire come, they do and they see and they encourage me. I say, if you do this work, I see and I say money there now. Now I make him go learn that organizer.
The father of 9 says he is grateful to God for giving him the strength to go on, while pointing out that no one should write off anybody as helpless or hopeless.
I thank God. Now from 2002 to 2003, now I start this work. I thank God. They see small money to chop. So now that's small money now they still feed my people.
Dauda Shaidu says when he is not working in the shop, he enjoys the company of his family. He sometimes goes to his farm.
For my advice for youth, any work they do, just do them. Because any work they do is a work. And secondly, I get one hand that they do this work. I see many youth in daytime, no one run work, no one do work. But some people they come, if they do work like this, some people hammer hit them for hand, he run away. Some people say it's too hard for him. Now he make him request for that treatment. He get treatment he's supposed to get. If he get an equipment, if he get an now, some people will ready to rent this work.
As we depart, his message for us is that life is what you make out of it.
Respect Dauda, true example of resilience, and I pray he's assisted with better equipment. Now the saying, the statement, what a man can do, a woman can do better, is not strange to many. We now see women venturing into fields of endeavors initially dominated by male folks. In this report, Kehinde Adebisi met with some female drivers in Lagos, and she's ready to tell us about the outcome of her experience.
Have you ever boarded a bus driven by a woman before? And how did you feel? What was your experience? Well, on this journey, I'm going to be talking to some women who are in this profession dominated by men. Let's go find out. Driving is one of Elizabeth Olga's hobbies. This hobby became a passion, and now she has taken the passion to the next level by driving a commercial bus. So how long have you been doing this business?
Not quite long. I'm enjoying it because it's a passion. I love doing it, and not quite long. I have other things that I'm doing, but that love I have in driving, meeting people, sometimes we abuse each other. I love it.
Nike NLB, on the other hand, was led by circumstances into the business.
I lost my husband 4 years ago, so it has not been easy. And I saw other women. There's a woman I met, so I saw her and I asked her that I just lost my husband and I want something to be doing. She said, well, if I can drive this boy, I said, okay.
But what do people feel about this bit of rarity?
Other things, there are other things. It's not driving. Driving is very dangerous. Anything can happen.
In fact, I feel good because they say what man can do, woman can do better. In myself, I even want to go into it. Forget about the government what I'm doing. I still want to go into that type of thing because I love it. It will bring more money for them in their family.
Many are curious about how these women manage the home front and also compete with their male counterparts.
You can see that they were calling me mama, mama, mama. I'm mama to everybody, both young and old. So I enjoy being in their midst. I grew in midst of boys, so having them as my counterpart doesn't make any difference. I'm enjoying them. They're enjoying me too.
Because sometimes they always challenge us, but we always say that what a man can do, women can do it better. But it has not been easy.
A ride on one of the buses gave me a feel of what regular commuters on the women-driven commercial vehicles feel. Was indeed a smooth ride.
If I see female drivers on the road, I don't challenge them. I just let them go. Why? Because I give them prestige. You will see rare ladies, women driving vehicles.
I did happy now because of us now the same way with the wrong.
With this experience, I would surely be on the lookout for men doing what women do. Then we can ask the question, what a woman can do, can a man do better?
NIPC, and go this way.
Good question, Katie. And when I say we add swags, I was not lying. Did you see the well manicured nails of the female driver? I mean, we make the best out of every situation. Now, there's a saying that some people are born great. Some work their way to greatness, and others are just lucky to have greatness conferred on them. The person in our next package belongs to the class of those born great. Born in India, raised in Nigeria, Bati, at 17, is a multi-talented teenager with over 50 awards and recognitions and still counting. Let's hear more from Momso Damian Dati.
Relocated to Nigeria as a young girl with her family, Bati has found exceptional identity in dancing. She is an artist, an environmentalist, and an aspiring engineer. My dream of visiting India came to near reality when I visited the home of the Pariks, where I was treated to some Indian warmth and traditions. For me, it really felt like India in Nigeria.
Inakwana, Inagajia, Yayayali.
Not forgetting my mission, I got down to business with this exceptional Indian teenager, Bati Parik, a 200-level student of engineering telecommunications.
I did my secondary school here. Well, my dad is also an engineer. He studied the same course. And when I saw him working, when I saw how things were done, it was like, no, I also want to be an engineer. That kind of feeling when you go to a new country, you have a lot of questions in your mind. How am I going to survive? How are the people over there? Am I going to be comfortable with them? Are they friendly? My classroom, everybody was so nice. They gave me a very warm welcome. As soon as I sat down, everyone came to talk to me. They were like, oh, how are you? I just felt like I was one of them.
From her first days in school, she appeared as a prize collector. At 17, she has over 60 awards and recommendations.
First day of high school, like everybody welcomed her. And like it didn't take more than a week to settle her. So she has been working hard. She has been a very hard worker since her childhood.
Her only sister, Jagrati, has so much to be thankful for.
She's very nice to me. She's always playing with me. Anytime I call her, like, Barty, let's go play, she'll be like, okay, let's go and play. Let's go for a stroll. She's always nice.
Simitra Parik, Bati's mother, is gradually becoming indigenized and becoming indigenous in creating recipes with Nigerian agri produce.
The taste is also different in the market.
I can attest to her special skills after tasting some of her specials. With Irish potatoes, for instance, she has created over 20 different snacks laced with Nigerian spices and Indian tea to go with.
Nigeria is a wonderful place, ma'am. Means this is the country, we can say, rich with resources. You name it and you have the resource here. And rich in terms of culture.
They say living in Nigeria has been easy, a home away from home.
I love Nigeria. The people, of course, they are friendly.
Thanks to Nigerians and Indians' shared value of hospitality.
Outstanding indeed. Now, Nigerians, wherever we find ourselves, always excel in whatever endeavor we embark on. This is a story of a Nigerian professor of architecture from the University of Lagos who is making the nation proud around the world. Over to Anthony Fossen for more.
This is the Floating Hub. It is a cultural and creative platform located in the beautiful bay of Mindelo in the island of Sao Vincent, Cape Verde. The platform is an adaptation of a floating building called Makoko Floating System. The design is a simple way to build on water using lightweight fabricated modular timber elements that can be assembled and dismantled. The man behind this project is Nigeria's Professor Kunle Adeyemi of the University of Lagos.
I'm working on a project that we've just completed called Mansa Floating Hub. It's a floating music hub, a creative space which is in the city of Sao Vicente, using culture, tourism and hospitality as a catalyst for development.
Conceived as a vessel of return to promote music, dance, arts, and fashion, and other creative industry components in Africa and African diaspora.
My career began in Nigeria, and I had an opportunity to also practice in the Netherlands, and from the Netherlands did several projects all over the world. And 10 years ago, I began my own practice also called Nle, which means at home in Yoruba. And Nle is based in the Netherlands and also Nigeria. We work from both places in different regions all over Africa and also the rest of the world.
Professor Kunle Adeyemi says this is his way of showcasing Nigeria to the world.
I am extremely proud to be a Nigerian. Very, very proud. You know, success comes with challenges, and I think Nigeria as a country is one that is reflecting both conditions. There's moments of success and a lot of challenges, and it doesn't mean we need to be to give up on that cause.
And what they are doing in the area of music is even as significant, since it was that route that the infamous Atlantic slave trade, went through, and most of the soul-stirring music that has become the flagship of African music today were produced and developed during those trips, slave trade trips, to keep them away from depression, to give them hope and unite under the most difficult conditions. So we want to use the same music now as a vessel of return.
We shine wherever we go to. I mean, we're just outstanding. From one remarkable Nigerian to another. At the age of 11, Chinonso Eche already had his name in Guinness Book of World Records for his talented football juggling displays. Now 13 years, This rising star is still struggling and hoping to actualize his full potential of becoming a world football star. Austin Edemodu visited this world record holder in his Alaja residence in Delta State. He now brings a taste of the stuff Chinonso is made of.
Wait a second, that's some pretty cool juggling.
Do you know this internet sensation of an extreme ball juggler? Yes, of course, he is a Nigerian, Chinonso Eche, who took the world by storm by his footballing skill. Somewhere in Alaja Delta State, NTA news crew located Chinonso and his father, and some of his peers who were equally excited. In no time, he hit the training pitch, and the 13-year-old did not disappoint. Soon, the eye-catching performance drew the attention of passers-by who watched in amazement. How did Chinonso develop such talent?
By using my drinking cup and play for inside house. When I saw him, I flogged him. Why can you use my drinking cup and play for inside house? So after flogging him, not reached 2 weeks, I give it again. I said, this is talent.
At the age of 11, Chinonso Eche's magic moments earned him a place in the Guinness Book record in 2019. He performed a record 111 touches in 1 minute with a ball on his head while juggling another on his knees. I tried challenging Chinonso to a juggling contest and I nearly twisted my ankle. Even with these skills, a former Nigerian international who has played for all the cadres of the Nigerian national team, Joseph Imo State, told me that Chinonso Eche needs more exposure to be an all-round footballer.
He's not undergoing the very right training that he needs to develop. So he will not get that idea except we train in a place that have facilities.
He's a good midfielder. So we use him from the flank where we will not be having so much contact and avoid much injury.
Managing Chinonso's career has not been easy, says his father, a truck driver who alleges that third-party agents are blocking his son's career.
The people that God, give power, give idea to help people. I'm begging them to come and help me.
I want to become an international footballer and I would like to play for Cathedral.
Chinonso Eche no doubt needs support and more encouragement to fulfill his dreams. I guess relevant authorities can make it happen.
Another, and in fact, maybe greater JJ Okocha in the making. He must be encouraged. Time for a break. Newsline continues shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now to what brands are doing. Top Feeds, a subsidiary of Flour Mills of Nigeria, a leading brand of feed for poultry and fish in the country, has recognized, engaged, and rewarded its trade partners and distributors across the country for commitment and support for business growth. Top Feeds has hosted dinner and award ceremonies in 3 geopolitical zones of the country. Justin Bemui reports.
As you know, we are expanding in the north, and that means we need your help, support to make you successful and to make us successful.
Premier Feed Mills, the leading animal feed company in Nigeria with the brand name Top Feeds, a subsidiary of Flour Mills of Nigeria, demonstrated its commitment by engaging and rewarding its trade partners. This year, being a decentralized edition of the gesture, the company hosted its distributors to a business meeting and dinner award night in 3 cities: Ibadan for Southwest, Abuja for North, and Port Harcourt hosted those from the East.
We have 4 plants in Kano, Kaduna, Calabar and Ibadan producing feed. So Top Feeds has been positioned as a leading brand of feed for poultry and for fish, but we also produce for some other species on demand, and we always position ourselves as being the best quality and the best value for money. So the major aim is really to give recognition to all the efforts from our distributors and also to believe in our products, to to be our ambassadors.
And we're moving. We want to spread until we cover the whole country.
The event was also organized to share the growth plan for the financial year 2021-2022, educate trade partners on the current trends in the poultry and fish industry, get feedbacks and inputs from distributors on how the company can improve on its delivery. Outstanding distributors were awarded in categories of Most Improved Distributors and Exclusivity Award for distributors who sell solely Top Feeds brands.
Well, I want to say to the management of Top Feeds, kudos for that effort. And I want to say that they have been a lifeline to the poultry industry.
First, second and third in the poultry feed category went away with 4 tons and 1.5 tons loaded trucks, as well as 7.5 kVA generators. Also, the fish feed category winner went away with a 2-ton loaded truck.
Now, history and cultural revalidation of Yoruba people took the center stage at the ancient town of Ile-Ife as Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, declared every 11th September as a special day to celebrate one of the finest premium lager beers, Goldberg, known as Omoluabi, from the stable of the Nigerian Breweries PLC. The maiden Omoluabi Day, held at the Oni's Palace, featured people by Goldberg, empowered people, and Femi Afariogun has the sights and sounds of the event.
Wikipedia describes the Yoruba word Omoluabi as a person of honor and integrity who believes in hard work and respects the rights of others. Recognizing the premium the Yoruba places on the word Omoluabi, one of the finest lager beer in Nigeria, Goldberg, is at the cradle of civilization, Ile-Ife, to put smiles on the faces of people in commemoration of the Omoluabi Day. Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, appreciated the Nigerian breweries for always coming up with programs and empowerments that affect people's lives positively.
I am very happy with this Omoluabi program because it talks about what Yoruba race stands for.
From Aria Repete to Ishedowo, now Omoluabi, the Corporate Affairs Director, Nigerian Breweries, Shade Morgan, revealed that Goldberg as a brand has empowered thousands of Nigerians. 9/11 Omoluabi Day, she assured, will give dignity to Yoruba people.
Obviously, as we celebrate today's event, I hope that we will all continue to be inspired by the stories that we are going to start hearing, that we will continue to hear about the great Omoluabis. And we will recognize that this very special day not only celebrates our people, but most importantly, celebrates our rich culture and tradition. And ultimately, we believe that it will also inspire an even more glorious future for the Yoruba people.
13 artisans were empowered with 200,000 naira each.
If I buy market for 200,000, even, I will know the income to my shop. So my shop will be big, looking beautiful.
It stands for resilience, the resilient spirit in Nigerians, that we are doing well and we can continue to do well.
Yeah, this is us not forgetting our culture, this is us not forgetting our tradition.
A new Goldberg TV commercial entitled Ekwishe was unveiled also to celebrate Omoluabi Day.
Shout out to the ones where they run things. Behind the scene, they know they see you. You they walk, you they try, you they make sure say everything go they okay. So I live with you. We say all you want.
One cannot talk about the evolution of film production and short television soap operas in Nigeria without the mention of a household name that evokes pleasant memories of live teaching drama series on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. The veteran producer, Peter Iho, with the Midas touch, was conferred with a degree of Doctors of Letters honoris causa at the combined convocation and 5th Founders Memorial Lecture of the Michael and Cecilia Ibru University in Agbaroto, Delta State. Ifeoma Okafor was there for NTA.
Decorated as the higher institution making a difference in the education sector at the National Education Summit Awards, Michael and Cecilia Ibru University, Agbaroto, Delta State, has identified with those who share in its vision in the pursuit of excellence, professionalism, and human development. At the university's convocation and 5th Founders Memorial Lecture, icons of excellence and students who have excelled in their various fields of endeavor were awarded.
Cecilia Ibru University hereby constitute this assembly for the purpose of conferment of degrees.
The university was given temporary license to operate as the 56th private university by the federal government of Nigeria.
Among the awardees is Peter Igo, the man who has blazed the trail in the evolution of film production in Nigeria, a veteran broadcaster of the Nigerian Television Authority. Remember the creative force behind the blockbuster soap opera on NTA, The Cockerel at Dawn.
You can't even hear the sound of the cockerel at dawn.
Peter Igo's success, distinction, and immense contribution to the value chain of the entertainment industry has made the Michael and Cecilia Ibru University find him worthy to be conferred with a degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
He has served the country well and therefore is very deserving.
Peter grew to become, a program juggernaut.
For the awardee, the path to success was laden with challenges, but despite the pains and sacrifices, he has triumphed.
When you are out there giving your best, people notice. When you are out there putting in a lot of sacrifice and in everything you do, achieving excellence, people notice.
Peter Igo is intelligent, committed to anything he does.
One of our best in Nigeria, Peter Igo, what you have done and your contributions to this country, it is something that is beyond measure, something that you cannot simply quantify.
Peter Igo has won many awards, including Best Producer and Best Director of the Nigerian Television Authority Silver Jubilee Celebration, and a Lifetime Achievement Award for his outstanding contributions to the film industry in Nigeria. For the traditional band of the Emir of Lafia, success certainly has many colors and no boundaries.
Congratulations to the legendary Peter Iho. Time for another break. We'll be right back.
Job creation, skill acquisition, and innovation among Nigerian teeming youth, and access to credit facilities by the present administration. That is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week, bridging the gap of unemployment and strengthening poverty reduction in Nigeria. Tuesday Live, every week at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
Welcome back. What becomes of a man who chooses to make his daughter assume the position of a wife by taking her to bed? This is a story of a middle-aged man caught in the act with his daughter in a hotel in Sapele, Delta State. Rosemary Omani tells us more.
The world sees it as taboo when a man takes his own biological daughter to bed.
it is an act of incest, greatly condemned by the scriptures. This unholy act is becoming a pastime to some people in Nigeria, judging from everyday happenings of such. A most recent is what happened in Sapele, Delta State, where a Bayelsa-based Delta man traveled all the way from Bayelsa just to come and have a feel of his daughter.
Who be this man to you?
Don't lie, you.
Now your daddy.
Who will be to you?
Who should be to you?
My daughter. Now we understand.
The man, according to sources, booked for a hotel for the purpose. Luck ran out of him when a man suspected his move and alerted others, who went to the hotel and broke the door to catch them red-handed in the sacrilegious act.
The children, when they use their children to do their babe for Saple, make una stop her.
Incest of the highest order. It's unheard of. So it's not something that should be encouraged at all. In fact, it's a curse in our culture here. So, not something we've seen before. We used to watch it in films, but this is life.
The man was thereafter arrested by the vigilante in Sapele and handed over to the police for necessary action.
In Nigeria, the classic reaction to this is a spit-out tweet, showing the level of taboo and condemnation. We'll take another break.
It's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color, all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brightly. Drink it in.
The center is purposely established in order to provide these services that are examinations, medical examinations and investigations that were not provided for in Kano as well as the entire Northwest region. It's equipped with modern technological equipment in terms of radiological services. We have MRI 1.5 Tesla. We have digital X-ray as well as 4D ultrasound equipment. The importance of the center cannot be overemphasized. Just within 1 year, the center attended to thousands and numerous patients as well as medical examinations. NKDC is established in order also to provide these healthcare facilities as a discounted price.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. Agbo Town was a mecca of some sort when late Brigadier General Dominic Obuka Data Oneya was laid to rest in his hometown, Ewere Agbo, Ugeli North, local government area of Delta State. Dignitaries from all walks of life attended the burial ceremony.
St. Jude Catholic Church, Jerry Efurun, the venue of the funeral service of late Brigadier Dominic Oneya, housed the full complement of well-meaning Nigerians. Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, and his counterpart from Benue State, Samuel Otto, represented by his deputy Benson Abunu, top military hierarchy also in attendance to pay their last respect to the late general. The Catholic Bishop of Warri Diocese, Most Reverend John Alfereha, eulogized late Oneya, who was also a knight of St. Mulumba.
He lived a life of love and praying that many of us will consider later.
Soon after, in line with military tradition, the Chief of Army Staff, General Farouk Yahya, led other senior military officers for the befitting ceremony witnessed by the Governor of Benue State.
He has helped all the family together, including the relations that are far and wide. He never forget anyone.
Brigadier General Oneya, while he held sojourn as a military administrator of Benue State, left so many landmarks that are still witnessable in Benue State today.
The children also played their role during the doors-to-doors rites as they bid farewell to their departed beloved one.
We should continue to remember him by the things he taught us, his kindness. He always smiled. He was never upset with anybody.
He was a very humble man. He was an embodiment of humility. He was very peaceful and very gracious.
There was no dull moment with the performances from different dance troupes from Delta and Benue states to the admiration of the Deputy Senate President of Imo State. Late General Dominic Oniya was a former military administrator of Kano and Bandit states and handed over to a civilian administration in May 1999.
May his soul rest in peace. Now, this is where we end Newsline for today. Thank you for watching, and God bless Nigeria.